Hello everyone. In this session, I will be discussing about analog communication fundamentals. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Priyanka Notia. Currently, I am working as an assistant professor at Dolphin PG Institute of Biomedical and Natural Science. In this session, we'll be going to study about the need of modulation, different techniques behind the modulation, features of amplitude modulation, compare the bandwidth of different modulation technique, and at the end how we detect the modulating signal at the receiving end. Now starting with the analog communication, for communication we need to have a transmitter, channel and receiver. So modulation is basically done at the transmitter section. In this we have a low frequency message signal which is to be transmitted, a carrier signal of a very high frequency. Generally, low frequency message signal we are unable to transmit it as it is having low frequency, so it is more prone to noises. Also, we transmit the signal with the help of the antenna, and the antenna height depends on the wavelength. Higher the wavelength, higher will be the length. As a low frequency results in a higher wavelength, so results in the higher length of the antenna. And practically, high length antenna is not feasible. So for that purpose, we do the modulation. Now let me illustrate the AM, PM and FM signal. In this you have the high frequency carrier signal, the carrier wave and the modulating signal MT. Now first, what happened in the amplitude modulation, your carrier signal amplitude is varying according to the amplitude of the message signal. As we can see the envelope of the AM is similar to the modulating signal carrier wave. Next we have the phase modulation. In this the phase is getting changed whenever there is a change in the amplitude of the message signal. In the frequency modulation, whenever there is a positive half cycle of the message signal, we see there is a large change in frequency, means the frequency is very much high, whereas at the negative edge of the message signal we are having a very low frequency. The signal is not changing very fast. So these are the different waveform through which we can understand how amplitude modulation occur and how phase modulation occur and how frequency modulation occur. In this section we'll be mainly focusing on the amplitude modulation. Now the need of the modulation is, we have already studied that the low frequency signals are more prone to noise. So in order to avoid that, we usually transmit the message signal on a high frequency carrier wave. Next is the size of the antenna. The size of the antenna already discussed. The length depends on the wavelength. Higher the frequency, lower is the wavelength, so lower is the height of the antenna. So practical height of the antenna can be easily achievable with the help of modulation. Next we classify the modulation technique in two parts, that is the amplitude modulation and the angle modulation. In the angle modulation we have the frequency modulation and the phase modulation. We will be discussing the amplitude modulation. As we have already studied that the carrier wave amplitude is varied according to the amplitude of the message signal. So if we have the message signal EMT cos 2 pi FMT, FM here is a message signal frequency, FC is here the carrier signal frequency. Next, how we get the resultant expression is simply we are adding the carrier amplitude EC, we are adding the message signal in that. So we get the total expression ST is equals to EC plus the message signal EMT signal we are adding and cos 2 pi FCT. So what what we are doing, we are just adding the message signal to the amplitude of the carrier signal. If you look at the waveform, then we have signal to be modulated, that is simply the message signal that we want to transmit. Carrier signal is simply a high frequency signal on which we are transmitting our message signal. If we do the amplitude modulation, there is a change in the amplitude of the carrier, and that change is dependent on the amplitude of the message signal or a signal to be modulated. Next, if we see the frequency spectrum, then we find that the expression that we have already obtained for the amplitude modulation is simply EC1 plus m cos 2 pi fmt cos 2 pi fct. If we multiply this, then we get the formula of cos A cos B simply cos A minus B and cos A plus B. If we look at the spectrum, the frequency spectrum, we have, if we carefully look at the expression, we have three components. One is the carrier centered at frequency Fc. Another are the two sidebands, the lower sideband and the upper sideband. Upper sideband having the frequency Fc plus Fm and the lower sideband frequency Fc minus Fm. So with the help of modulation, we are sending these three signals with Fc plus Fm and Fc and Fc minus Fm frequency. Now next we move on to the double sideband suppressed carrier and single sideband. In the standard AM, one can transmit a carrier LSB-MSB signal, but we know that information is contained only in the LSB or the MSB. So we can avoid the sending of the carrier, due to which we can achieve a good power efficiency. So in DSB-SC signal, the carrier is absent. Now if we carefully look at the diagram, in the DSB full carrier we are sending lower sideband, upper sideband and carrier also, and in the DSB we are sending only two sidebands. Carefully look at the figure on the left side. Now also if we look at the upper sideband and the lower sideband containing the same information, only the difference is in the frequencies, but they carry the same information. So further, in single sideband we avoid one of the sideband, only one sideband we are sending. Either we can send upper sideband or we can send lower sideband. This we can easily see in the image right side. Next, if we look at the comparison of the different modulation technique, all the DSB-FC, DSB-SC and SSB-VSB differ in the carrier suppression mode, in the bandwidth and the transmission efficiency. In SSB, we have only one sideband, so total bandwidth is only FM. Whereas in the DSB-SC, we have the bandwidth 2 FM, and in this no carrier is present, but the bandwidth is same as that of a DSB-FC. If we look at the applications, then DSB-SC and FC both are used in the radio broadcasting, while SSB is used in point-to-point mobile communication. Next, if you look at the generation of the DSB signal, this is generally done by the balanced modulator. This balanced modulator consists of the AM modulator, 2 AM modulator and 180 phase shifter. The two modulators, the message signal is applied. One is a plain message signal and other is a 180-degree phase shift. This 180-degree phase shift will give the Hilbert transform. The carrier oscillator will generate the carrier of frequency Fc, and these two carrier frequencies are given as an input to both the AM modulator. At the summation, we get the DSB-SC output. Next is the generation of SSB using the phase shift method. In this, we generally have the two product modulators and 290 phase shifter. The one modulator 1 is simply applied with the message signal and the carrier frequency Fc. But in the other product modulator, we have 90-degree phase shift for both message signal and the carrier signal, and the output from the two product modulator either we can add or we can subtract based on the addition. If we do the addition, we get the SSB with a lower sideband, and if we do the subtraction, we get the SSB with the upper sideband. Next, moving on to the demodulation technique. Usually this technique is done at the receiver end. As we know that in a communication we have a transmitter. Modulation is done at the transmitter end and the signal is sent through antenna. So the channel it passes, and at the receiving end it get received, and before getting into the pure message signal we do the demodulation in order to get our message signal from the carrier. Now the method used here is the envelope detector. We know that the message signal is present in the envelope of the modulated signal. So what we will be doing here, we will be using diode and a low pass filter in order to detect the envelope of the modulated signal. The envelope detector here is a combination of a diode and a low pass filter. The diode simply rectifies the input signal. It will be passing only one positive half cycle and clipping the another negative half cycle. Again, the capacitor charging and discharging action will help us in taking the envelope of the message signal. With the help of this, we can easily detect the envelope of the message signal at the receiving side. Hope you understood the topic analog fundamentals. For further queries or explanation, you can visit these websites. These are the references I have used and you can take help of these. Thank you, students.